Okay, this week has been crazy. I feel like I'm in the eye of the storm right now. Um, I'm back home, which is awesome. Mixed feelings about it, if I'm being completely honest. Uh, there's so much to do at college. There's so many things you could do. So many people your age. Um, Whereas here it's more calm, I guess. But I kind of want that. I kind of need that. The past couple of weeks have been insane. I feel like I was caught juggling rather than attacking and accomplishing. Things were just getting thrown at me, things that I had to do by certain dates, midterms, studying, homework, interviews, clubs I had to join, different things I was trying to do that took me away from the goals I set out this year. Hence why I'm recording this podcast on the day it's coming out. Actually, less than an hour before it's going to come out. Again. So, I want to spend this week figuring that out. Figuring out why that's happened. And I think it is rooted by me trying to appease towards a certain image that people want me to be. In fact, I continue to do it. I don't share things because I know people will see me in a different light. Some can call it strategy, I call it cowardice. I've used language to make it seem like a skill, the master of BS, when in reality, it's the master of not being able to take things seriously because then the spotlight's on me. I claim to want the spotlight, to be a pro at bathing in it. But when the audience is silent and all the attention is on me, I feel naked. I feel exposed. I don't want to continue to live like that. And so this week I want to spend some time just thinking back at my goals, the ones I set out this year, looking at them and seeing, is this really what I want to do? Why am I chasing these other external things? What is the thing that's driving me towards those other things that weren't the goals that I set out this year? And why am I doing those? Is it just so that I can say that I'm doing it? Is it just another thing to add on the resume? Is it just another thing to add on the pins on my t-shirt at the end of the year? Is it something that I actually want to do? Going back to what I was saying last week with focus, I need to stop spreading myself so thin. And I said that, and then I continue to do it. So I need to actually start taking the advice that I'm preaching and apply it. I think I also need to start having some difficult conversations both with myself and with other people. Because I say I'm good at communicating, but when it comes down to it, I'm horrible at communicating about the things I really want because I'm scared, I think. I'm scared to let people know my true intentions because if they did and they didn't like it, they would hate me. Or not hate me, but they would judge me and I would feel, like I said, naked. I'm okay with playing an act because then it's not me, and if you attack that, then I'm okay because that's separate from myself. But if I show you my real self and you attack that, then that hurts because then you can actually hurt me. And I think maybe I've created a persona of a person for a while, and it's fun and it's okay. And I think in most cases that's what you should be doing because life's supposed to be an act. Life's supposed to be fun. If you just played your normal serious self all the time, nobody would want to be there to listen or hear. But if you're, fun, making jokes, a fun person to be around, that's an enjoyable time. And I enjoy it. I enjoy playing the act sometimes. So I'm okay with it. But I'm saying that an act 100% of the time means 100% of the time you're not showing yourself. And in that case, you can't actually build a relationship off of that. And I've noticed, like, in high school, I didn't really care about getting a girlfriend or anything like that. Or, I don't know, chasing those ideals. That wasn't anything that was my primary focus. I was more focused on track, or I was more focused on writing the book I'm working on, or I was more focused on the goals that I had and being successful in developing myself. And now that I've gotten to the point of being in college, I know there's so many opportunities to build a relationship and find someone. And now that I'm starting to recognize that, I'm starting to see all the faults that I have in my own issues and my own problems and the things that I've been avoiding. And that can exist in a friendship, but in an actual relationship, it can't. And when it comes down to those actual relationships, I think I'm not very good at it. I think I can be a really good friend. I don't think I can be a really good partner. And I'm recognizing that. And I don't even know if I want to be one right now. But as I reflect, I definitely want to try. And I think a lot of these root down to similar issues. And I think it's a very complicated situation because I'm very good at communicating when it comes to projects, when it comes to friendships, when it comes to certain aspects of my life. But then in other aspects of my life, I keep quiet. I withhold information. I don't show my true interest. And I know personally from other areas of my life, when you do that, problems occur, problems arise, people get mad. When your intentions and your goals and what you want to do are not fully communicated, issues will arise. You can't just assume people will know what you want. You have to tell them what you want. You have to be an active member. And I'm not one to usually be a victim, right? But I think we all, in some aspect of our life, have been one, right? I think I usually am someone who is an active participant, right? I'm not waiting for someone to invite me to something. I'm inviting people to something. And then they will invite me because of that. But I'm not going to bank on it, right? If I want something to get done, I'm going to do it. I'm not going to wait for somebody to do it for me. And I think that's great, right? I think that's a great mentality. But then in other cases, and in other scenarios, I'm like, oh, I'll just wait for, I got to wait for the right time or the right moment, right? Specifically like with a relationship or with telling certain people my goals or things I want to do. And I'm trying to figure out why that is. And thinking about it just now, off the top of my head, I was like, maybe I don't want them to be disappointed. But I don't know if that's even the root of this. I don't know if disappointment's the root. I don't know if I don't want to kill my delusions, if that makes sense. I don't want the actual reality of the situation to be opposite of what I imagined it to be in my head. And so I'd rather live in the delusion and push the delusion further and further and further and further than accept the reality that there may be some pushback, that there may be some conflict. I think it's an issue of being afraid of conflict and arguments when it comes to things that hold emotional weight, topics that hold emotional weight. And very specific topics, because I'll go in an argument about something I don't understand in class, or something I just, in my friend group, I'll argue. And I'm totally okay with that. But then when it comes to other scenarios as, I don't know, the goals I have, things that I care about deeply, I want to avoid arguments at all costs, friendships, families, when it comes to serious topics like that. And I think that's still a part of me that's very childish. I think some aspects of me can be very adult and grown up and mature, and then other aspects are still very childish. And I try to hide those areas or ignore them, push them off, because addressing them would be discomfort, would lead to tough conversations, would lead to me potentially getting hurt. And I don't know if it's, I don't want to say survival instinct because I hate when people say that. You say survival instinct, but how much are you really living, right? Maybe you're surviving, but you're not living if you're avoiding certain things. You're not living to what you could be, to what you should be living up to. And so I'm trying to rearrange that. Because I found myself in the past couple of weeks when I applied for this interview, right? I did this interview. I thought I did really well. It was for a position in my building next year. And I didn't get the position. And so then I started to do things, right? Join clubs, activities, start getting committed. Because I was like, you know what? I wasn't really active at UConn. And I think that may have been a reason why I didn't get the position. I didn't get the role. Was because I wasn't an active participant. I wasn't doing a club at UConn that had me in a leadership role. And there was other people that were competing against me. And I was just talking about this with my friend last night. In high school, it wasn't as competitive. I was the try-hard in a bunch of average people, but now I'm in a pool of a bunch of try-hards that are only focusing on this one thing. Whereas my focus may be on a different area, and I thought arrogantly that if I just hop into this other arena, I could match up and be on par with them, but I'm not. That's like me. Let me give an example. That's like me practicing basketball on the side and trying to join the NBA. If I really wanted to do this school thing hardcore, then that would have to be my sole focus. But I'm kind of doing the school thing in my mind as like a side thing, right? And these other goals are, there's two side things, right? I'm trying to do both at once. And hopefully this other thing, this thing that I'm actually passionate about, becomes successful. But I know that school is a good backup. School is a good thing to have be the main focus, because succeeding in this other arena is very difficult. But on the same token, since it is very difficult to succeed in this arena, that should be my full focus. Confusing. Conflicting information. Right. So here's what I'm trying to figure out. Maybe I develop the skills first. Maybe I just do this thing on the side and slowly develop the skills. And maybe it won't be as fast as some other people, but I am still developing the skills, and I'm also doing this school thing. And in some ways they'll overlap, and that'll be awesome. And then hopefully I'll have a good skill set by the end of these 4 years of college, and I can decide then. But it's, again, me kicking the can down the road. And I think I need to preemptively have the tough conversations of being like, this is what I want to actually do. I'm going to continue doing this because right now I haven't reached a certain amount of success where it's okay to have that be my full focus. But this is what I want to do, and this is what I'm going to do after all said and done. And this is what I'm going to continue to want to do, because if I don't, I'm not going to enjoy anything else I'm doing. Being in college sets things into reality, both relationship-wise and school and work and life after school-wise. High school was the time for delusions. High school was the time to dream. High school was the time to, again, BS, master of BS. College is the time for reality to set in, for you to mature a bit. You don't have time to push things off. Sure, we're young, but if you just let something slide, time will keep going, and it goes faster. And letting those things slide that you want to do, you'll end up waking up years from now regretting not doing it earlier. Regretting not starting earlier. Regretting not attacking earlier. But back to the focus thing. I can only do so much. And so I'm trying to tag all these different points, check off all these different boxes, but I'm just doing work without actually going anywhere. I'm juggling rather than running, and moving forward. I don't feel like I'm moving forward right now. I feel like I'm just getting things done because I need to get them done rather than progressing. And same thing happened in high school. And I said I wasn't going to make the same mistake, and then I signed up for things again. And I did make the same mistake for the first semester. But I don't know how to attack that problem. And I think it's also an image thing, right? Because on the outside, it doesn't look like I'm involved in a lot of things, because I'm not. I'm not involved in a lot of clubs. I'm not involved in a lot of school activities, but I'm working on this podcast. I'm working on this book. I'm working on some other goals that I have: working out, training, running, declaring a double major. And right now, image-wise, it doesn't look like I'm doing a lot, because I don't tell everybody everything. Again, it's a communication thing, right? And so, yeah, sure, maybe I'm getting, like, people getting little slight jabs. Oh, like, what, you're not doing this club, you're not doing that club. Like, because doing these interviews, I'm realizing these other people are doing all these other things. And I'm competing against that. And so I feel like I also need to do it, but I need to realize we're not playing the same game. We're playing two different games, and I'm trying to play both. And I'm end up just leaving the other game that I actually want to play and competing against this field that I don't really care about, just because there's people around me that are also competing in that field. And I need to be okay with, on the outside for a while, looking like I'm not succeeding until I eventually am, and then they'll see it. But being okay with being patient on image. And that's something I'm having a hard time reconciling with, because I care what people think about me. Whether I spread that message of nobody cares or not, I still do care. And I'm still trying to appease, but I need to stop it. I need to recognize that joining these clubs are not towards my goals. I need to do what I said I was going to do for this year and see what happens. And then reassess afterwards. Not trying to barely give it a chance and then give up on it. I feel like I said a lot in this podcast and also not a lot at the same time. It wasn't as planned out as some of the other podcasts. It was just things off the top of my head, on my mind. Some things written down, but most of it was free-flowing thoughts. Hopefully next week's podcast will be more planned out. I'm going to really try to put in an effort. I have more time this week since I have break to script something. I need to reset and realign my focus back on these goals that I have, these goals that I set this year, because I do want to achieve them. And I need to stop saying yes for a little while right now to these other commitments, these other things, and really just put my head down and work on these goals I had, because it's really hurting me internally that I'm letting them slip for other external things that I have to do. So, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I know my voice sounds kind of dead because I haven't been getting the best sleep. Hopefully this week I can also catch up on my rest. I didn't come in with the best energy. I'm sorry. But I hope it was at least entertaining, informative. I'm kind of just waiting for this recording thing to get to 20 minutes, and then I'm going to end it, because that's kind of the barrier I've set for myself. It has to at least be 20 minutes for it to be a podcast episode. Okay, and it's 20 minutes. Awesome. Thank you for watching and listening. Hopefully you've subscribed already. If not, please subscribe, and I will see you next week. Now I need to upload this. It's 11:34, and this is supposed to go out at 12. So